Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Keep It on the DL. I'm Louis Angelillo, and alongside always is Devin Bonanno. And we have so much to get into. We're probably not going to touch on everything that's happened since our last show. We have a whole lot to discuss here. So sorry if we don't touch on every little thing that happens. It's been a while. I went on a little vacation last week.
It must be
yes,
nice.
you went on the vacation too. So don't think that I'm the only one taking vacations here. Dev has been on vacation as well. So we open up with something we've been putting off: college football. Big Ten announces today that they are back. They will resume games along with the SEC that's been playing, the ACC that's been playing, a couple other conferences. Big Ten to join them. They'll have a season. We'll get Ohio State football. We'll get Michigan football. Exciting stuff. Glad they're back. Good that they're back. It really helps the competition and helps the playoffs, and it means more when the Big Ten's playing. And yeah, just great to have the power conferences back in this, and I think the Pac-12 is following. Is going to be on its way back soon as well.
Yeah, I'll even go on a limb, Lou, and say that this is even bigger than the NFL coming back from so many perspectives. I mean, the college football landscape, in my opinion, the fan bases eat, sleep, and breathe college football more so than professional sports teams do for the NFL, if that makes any sense. I mean, the entire state of Ohio are Buckeye fans. The entire state of Michigan, the entire state of Iowa, Nebraska. I mean, it goes on and on. And the Big Ten, obviously the two big guns are the Big Ten and the SEC. Now they're both going to be playing football, which is great. And obviously you're going to have the Pac-12 coming in very soon. And from an NFL standpoint, I mean, this is huge. I mean, you're going to have guys in what's going to be all the Power 5 conferences. They're going to be playing football, and it's huge for their draft stock. It's important for these guys.
Very important for the draft stock.
Solidify.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah,
Exactly.
get these players, looked at in their senior years. These guys that have big senior years, we can see what happens. Imagine Joe Burrow never gets his senior year season. I mean, forget it. Joe Burrow is not the number one overall pick in 2020, right?
No, I agree. I definitely agree. Sure, that's a very, very good point. So I'm pumped. I love college football. I mean, even for me, it's still going to be weird to kind of get into it. I honestly forgot that college football was really going on still a little bit, since some conferences are playing and some aren't. It's tough to keep track, but when it's all said and done, I mean, we're still going to have a playoff. The Big Ten really isn't losing anything. I believe the conference championship game is only going to be about 10 days later than it would have been this year with a normal schedule anyway, so what the heck is that? An all-conference game, so really it's not going to make a big difference. And
the biggest difference in all this is you're gonna be watching the game, and it's going to be so weird seeing stadiums not at max capacity, because these college football stadiums get twice as many fans at NFL games in their home states. The Cleveland Browns games do not get as many fans as an Ohio State football game would. So it's going to be strange seeing without the fans and the bands, and it's just so much more than football. When you go to a college football game, it's so much more than the game sometimes than it is the NFL game. You're going to an NFL game, you're going to watch the product on the field. College football, you go to the game to have the experience. It doesn't matter who they play or anything like that. But it's going to be sad to see without, you think most stadiums, I think, are going to have, maybe 10 to 20% capacity, but that's really nothing.
It's something, obviously, in the grand scheme of things. It's something, but you're absolutely right about that, Lou. I mean, college football is all about the experience, the enthusiasm. Talk about a home field advantage. That is all that college football is. And that's what makes college football, too. When you think about Penn State with their annual whiteout when a top-ranked team comes into Happy Valley, and then down in Happy Valley, not Happy Valley. What's LSU?
The Bayou?
They're not Happy Valley, too. Down the Bayou. with all the pom-poms going and the rambunctious crowd down there. You're not going to have that this year. But
College game day. College game day, too. You mean you're not going to have those crowds behind that? Yeah. I mean, it's going to be different. It's going to feel different. You're going to be happy that it's there, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same, but you're just going to be glad that there's something there. And in college basketball just announced that their season's going to start November 25th, so excited about that. And I know there's just been some crazy talks about the tourney, but I think it's going to end up staying the same old traditional way. They were talking about almost all D1 schools being in some kind of tournament. It was outrageous, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be your typical 64-team tournament. And it's kind of crazy that we're coming on a year of the world just stopping here talking about college basketball, because that was the first thing to really cancel. So it's crazy.
Yeah, about 6 months out.
Crazy that we're almost coming on a year of this going on. Talking about college basketball coming back again. So that'll do it for your college sports. Now let's get into some playoffs that are going on. NBA, NHL playoffs. Last night was game 1 between the Celtics and the Heat. And wow, I watched the ending of that game, and Bam had some block on Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum had that ball over the cylinder, and Bam somehow muscled it away. His fingers must be outrageously strong, because I cannot believe that he blocked Tatum's shots. And I'm one of the biggest Jason Tatum fans out there. I thought he took it to the rack. I was like, wow, look at this guy. He's going to fly up there. In the possession before that, before OT, he shot a backup 3. And to me, he's better going to the hole. But wow, Bam came in there and stuffed him, and the Heat ended up taking game 1 in overtime there of the Eastern Conference Finals. That was a crazy block. Did you see that?
Yeah, I was watching it mainly because I had the Heat. I live bet them plus 140 when they were down by 4, I think. So I was really into it. I have no idea how he blocked that shot. I still have no clue. And I had the same thought, Lou. I mean, you want the ball in your best player's hands when you're the Celtics. You give the ball to Tatum. They gave him some ISO, one-on-one, drove through the lane, and I thought he was going to slam that in for authority. And he got stuffed. He just got plain out stuffed, and with no call, as clean as can be. Heat are a team that nobody is going to want to face. I'll tell you right now. Whoever comes out of the East, the Celtics or the Heat, they're going to be a good matchup for the Lakers eventually. But if it's the Heat, man, they are good. Jimmy Butler's playing out of his mind. Of course, you got Tyler Hero too. You can't forget about him.
No, I mean they beat the number 1 team in the Bucks in 5 games. They said, see ya, Giannis. I mean, granted, Giannis, I think, was fighting a foot injury after Game 3, I believe. That ankle injury in Game 3. But they still they made light work of the Bucks like it was nothing. 4-1. This Heat team is really damn good. They are. They're such a well-run organization, the Miami Heat. I mean, they go from LeBron, D-Wade, Chris Bosh, and bam, here they are. They're back again. They're ready to go. And you can't even remember the Knicks being good when the Heat had LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh. So the Knicks have stunk all these years, and Miami's just able to just totally rebuild and be a finals contender again. Miami Heat is
That's
Pat Riley.
Yep.
Knicks let him go. Fantastic choice, right? Oh, so I mean, I think this is going to be a great series. I'll be surprised if it doesn't go at least 6. I would be surprised if it doesn't go 6. And I love Tatum, but I kind of think Kemba Walker needed the ball in his hands. What about you?
I still think you got to give it to Tatum. I mean, especially what you're down. I mean, the 3-ball wasn't necessary there. I love the play call, and he would have gotten the slam and tied the game up with authority. It was a great defensive play.
It was. I mean, Kemba was looking good all night. I'm so mad he went to the Celtics.
So was Tatum, though.
Oh, yeah, Tatum was too. Not saying anything about that. Just Kemba's the veteran, the experience. He did it in college. Like, you saw that guy's got it. He's got that it. So I thought maybe they would say, hey, maybe let's go to Kemba if Kemba had the right matchup. But they didn't. They went to Tatum. I mean, he looked like he should have had those 2 points easy. Stuffed by Bam. Crazy block. But let's head to the West now, where the Nuggets take down the Clippers in Game 7. Clippers choke away a 3-1 lead. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George combining for less than 40 points. I believe I think they went 14 and 12 together. I had 26 points from both of them. Just total choke jobs. I'm not going to blame Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers not telling Kawhi to put up 14 points, but man, does this hurt the Clippers and that organization, not having an LA Western Conference Finals. But Jamal Murray, 40 points. Jokic had 22 rebounds and 12 assists. He crushed. This guy, he does like a different Dirk shot. It's a tougher shot the way it looks. He literally like jumps off his right foot that when he's coming down, he's shooting the ball. It's one of the weirdest shots I've seen, and he makes it a lot, and he can make a lot of threes. He's got it. If he plays well, and Jamal Murray can do his thing, and Porter Jr. can give some good minutes, and they got role guys. They got Mason Plumlee that can come off the bench and bring a lot of energy, a lot of defense to that team. And the Nuggets can't take them lightly. I think the Lakers should end up winning this series. They should, but man, am I rooting for the Nuggets.
Listen, I give props to the Nuggets. I give them so much prop because I just remember just now, Lou. I don't know if you remember too, but they've come back from 3-1 in both series against Jazz
and multiple double-digit deficits in all three games coming back against the Clippers.
Exactly. And, I mean, on paper, they were completely unmatched against the Clippers. I mean, when you have PG and obviously Kawhi and Doc Rivers as the coach, I mean, you have to give the favoritism to the Clippers, and nobody on ESPN's panel had the Nuggets winning at all. Everybody had the back.
No one even had a Game 7.
Average.
No one had a Game 7.
No.
Disrespect to the Nuggets.
Yep, big time. And I mean, the Lakers, I agree, they should come out with it. But listen, you probably were saying that about the Clippers coming in to this series against the Nuggets,
Absolutely. You thought Kawhi Leonard was one of the best basketball players in the world and doesn't show up in Game 7. Not great at all. You see how different it is without home court, though. I mean, these teams, some of these teams, I don't think Milwaukee gets, ousted in 5. I don't think the Clippers lose in 7 if they have that true home court. I just don't think that they go away that easily if they have the home field advantage, home court advantage. So, but that's gonna wrap up your NBA pretty much. So we'll see. We got Lakers, Nuggets, Miami, Boston, and then the finals. On to the NHL, where the Isles are staying alive. A double OT win. Eberle scores the final goal on an odd man rush after that Tampa Bay guy whiffed on that shot. I mean, that was a break for the Islanders that he whiffed on that shot. They capitalized. They force a Game 6. Now they need to force a Game 7 tomorrow night. Think they can do it?
I definitely think they can. I mean, I actually just saw a tweet a few minutes ago that Stamkos was on the ice for the Lightning tonight. Today. I don't think he'll play at all in this series, but, I mean, the Lightning are going to have that if and when they go into the Stanley Cup final. But as far as the Islanders, they have been gritty all playoffs. They play such a complete defensive game. It's amazing. The leadership that Anders Lee has been showing this entire postseason, both on and off the ice, has been awesome. I mean, he gave such a nice sauce over to Eberle for that goal. Right over the defenseman's stick, tape to tape. Eberle just had to put in the back of the net. Nice and easy. The Lightning, no doubt, are the better team, but the Islanders, I mean, like I keep saying, they can beat anybody. They can play with anybody. Do I think that they're going to do it? No, because there's only been one team come back from a 3-1 deficit into the Eastern Conference Final, and that would be the always amazing 2000 New Jersey Devils, who eventually went on to win the Cup. So it's definitely a difficult task against this Tampa team. But for me, once you get to Game 7, obviously, it's a toss-up. So this is the must-win for the
Game
Islanders.
6s are always must-win. If I had to pick a game for my sports teams to win, it's going to be Game 6 every time. Game 6s are must-win games, unless, like yesterday, Game 5 was being a must-win game for the Isles there. And on to the West, we got my second favorite team, the Vegas Golden Knights, being bested again in the Western Conference Final for their second year in a row. Just looked like the Stars were just the better team in that series. I mean, Khudobin is playing fantastic. He was playing the position of goaltender unbelievably. He was playing really well. He looked really tough to just get one by, and you're just waiting for something. You're waiting for a scream where he finally doesn't see a puck or something, and it wasn't happening. Saving everything, and that Dallas defense continued to, point produce.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm still shocked that Dallas has made it as far as they have, and I think a lot of people think the same way. I bet every single game in that Avalanche Stars game, and I took the the Avs every time. And
why? You have to take the over.
Well, obviously the over.
The over was easy.
I was feeling the money lines in that game, in that series. I still have no idea.
Colorado had no goalie. Colorado's goalie couldn't stop a dang thing. Vegas would have beaten Colorado in 4.
I don't know about that. I don't know. And the Avs they were winning in Game 7, coming back from 3-1 deficit, and the Stars won in OT. But props to them. It's been a long time since they made the Stanley Cup Final. Actually, the last time they made the Cup Final was when they lost to the Devils in 2000. So there's some history possibly repeating itself here. Obviously, good news for the Islanders if they can come back. But they're firing on all cylinders. The Stars are just so tough defensively. They have Sagan up front. They can put the puck in the net. Khudobin is playing out of his mind, standing on his head. I'm pumped to see whoever they play in the Cup Final, whether it be the Islanders or the Lightning. It's gonna be a good series.
Dallas is getting a lot of points from their defense, but for them to win the Cup here, they need that, and they're going to need their guys up front. They need Sagan, Ben, Klingberg. They're going to need those guys to heat up, and if they're going to beat the Lightning here, if they get those 3 guys going, along with the defense still producing and the goaltending they're getting for Khudobin, I kind of like the Stars to win it all, regardless of who they play. I think the Lightning would be a tougher matchup for them, but I do think this Stars team is hot right now, and if they get Sagan, Klingberg, and Ben going, they're going to be good.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely going to be a tough out for whoever they play.
It will. Other news, Robin Leonard, Vegas goalie, gets a handshake 5-year, $5 million extension. But the big thing there is, what does that mean for Marc-Andre Fleury? Is he a top goaltender now, hitting the market?
I don't think so. I think his days are over. He's been around for about 15 years now, which is pretty crazy to think. A lot of people have him going in the expansion draft again out to Seattle, which could be good for him to end his career. But Leonard deserves this. He's been through a lot. He's proved himself. He really wanted to stay with the Islanders. The Islanders just could not afford to keep him and decided to go with Varlamov in that. But good for him. I like Leonard. I like his story, and from a goaltending perspective, He's been playing very good, and he's still got Fleury behind him as a backup. So God forbid something were to happen to him. Well, if Fleury does go down, or rather if Leonard does go down, Fleury as of right now is still there. So the Knights are still in good shape depending on what they want to do with Fleury. But very good news for Robin.
Vegas never has not reached the Western Conference Finals, so they have that going.
Yes,
I'll
exactly.
see if they can get there next year as well. And the last hockey news, Caps hire a new coach.
Yeah, Peter Laviolette going down to DC. He's gonna be coaching Ovi for the next few years. He's a fantastic.
He was with the
coach.
Predators
He's had
last,
success.
correct?
He was with the Predators last. He's coached the Flyers. He's been all over the place, all across the East Coast. I wanted the Devs to have him as their head coach. I love him. He's very structurally sound. He's a very defensive-minded coach. He's coached a bunch of young guys that have helped flourish their careers under Laviolette. But he's a win-now coach, so I think that's why the Devils didn't go after him. And reportedly, he wanted about $8.5 million, which is insane. But he's going to do very well there. I obviously the Caps are one of the best teams in the East. Lavi is a very well coaches. He's a player's coach for sure, and he'll definitely have success there. Just a matter of whether the Caps can get over that hump, especially if they're going to have a big question mark in net, because I don't know if they're going to bring Holtby back or not.
So that's why they might be emphasizing that defensive-minded coach as well.
Exactly.
So I guess good hire for the Caps there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely in favor of it for the Caps for sure.
And that'll wrap up the NHL news. And now we get to some exciting stuff here. Week 1 in the books. New York teams don't come out with a win, and the Yankees score more runs than points that the Giants and Jets put up. So that's how Week 1 went if you were a New York fan. But let's go all the way back to Thursday night. Opening kickoff, Chiefs, Texans. Chiefs 34, Texans 20. Texans were manhandled in this game. Just dominance by the Chiefs. Chiefs keep it rolling. Not surprised. I guess I'm a little surprised there wasn't some Super Bowl hangover. So my plus 9.5 Texans pick did not look good on Thursday night. So not the way you wanted to start off the week betting wise, but not ideal.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Lou, about the Chiefs. I don't think they're gonna have a hangover at all. Move on to Sunday. Oh God, first game Sunday. I think the Jets played in Buffalo.
Yes.
I don't know if it was them.
Jets Bills. Oh, you're making a joke.
Jets,
I
Bills.
thought you were making a joke. You're not sure if it was the
sorry.
Jets
Went over your
or
head.
I thought you were actually asking me who they played, but now I see you're going to say I know if it was Jets or Don Bosco's football team. Now,
Yeah, I don't know if it was
there
Pasco's
you go.
team or the Florham Park Pee Wee team, but whoever was on the field in Orchard Park, upstate, lost to the Bills 27-17. Jets just looked so flat, so bad on all cylinders. There was one bright spot, Jamison Crowder, who I think is going to have a really good year.
That's
for the
Sam's
Jets, and
favorite
it's,
target.
It is Sam's favorite target, and it's a good one too. He's a very reliable receiver. And Josh Allen, I gotta give him credit. I really was a doubter of his coming into the league, but he's looked very good, and he can run the damn ball too.
He can. 14 carries, 57 yards, and a touchdown in that game. Led Buffalo's rushers. He was the number one rusher for them in that game.
Yep.
You know, I just don't see people that are still saying Sam over Josh Allen at this point. I don't know. I think Allen's the better guy. But next, we have Seahawks, Falcons. Seahawks rolled them, in my opinion. This was my best bet of the week. Seahawks -1. I love this. I'm like, Russell Wilson is still fantastic. The Seahawks got Jamal Adams in that secondary now. They're getting their defense is getting better, and I was just all over the Seahawks in this one. They roll the Falcons 38-25. Matt Ryan, though, was looking good. 450 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 receivers over 100 yards. Calvin Ridley with 2 touchdowns. Gurley ran the ball okay. They didn't give him to him a lot. 14 carries for 56 yards and a touchdown. But, I mean, if you have the fantasy Falcons, you're liking it, even though they lost. If you have Falcons on your fantasy team, you're still going to be happy. So that was that game. Next one, Bears-Lions.
Yeah, a.k.a. the Toilet Bowl, because this was one game I really could care less about, except I have Allen Robinson on my fantasy team. But Won't go into that. The one surprise of this game, or the one thing I took out of this game, was how well AP looked running the ball. Let alone how well he looked and how many carries
14
he got.
for
He
93.
really commanded that backfield.
Yep, 14 for 93.
They gave him 14 carries. I mean, that backfield in Detroit's very confusing with DeAndre Swift and Kerryon Johnson still there. Very crowded. And AP somehow managed to get 14 carries. So that was great news for him. Stafford still managed to throw 297 yards. He went 24-42 and 1 touchdown. I think the Lions were really missing Kenny Golladay in this one. And Trubisky actually had a respectable game, especially in the second half.
Really just the fourth quarter. The 21 points
really
in the fourth quarter,
yeah.
outscoring the Lions 21-0, and DeAndre Swift dropping that ball, man. DeAndre could have had a moment.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, so Lions lose a heartbreaker. They really should have won that football game, and they should have covered too. But, man, that was a bad beat if you had the Lions plus, I think it was 3.5. But, wow, bad beat there.
3.5.
Now, next one, Packers, Vikings. Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers, people. I don't know why guys are so down on him. He's still Aaron Rodgers, threw for 364, 4 touchdowns in this one. One deep bomb to Valdez-Scantling down the sideline. And they were all over the Vikings, just absolutely smoked them. Devontae Adams, 14 catches, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. If you had Adam Thielen, you were happy at least. He's got a couple garbage time touchdowns there in the fourth quarter to get over 100 yards as well. But the Vikings just rolled. I mean, the Packers just rolled the Vikings, and they look good. They have the Lions next week, I believe, and they look to keep it going. But, man, the Vikings need to figure it out quick. 43 points week 1, not what you want to see, and a lot of that secondary was missing from Minnesota.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see out of the Vikings, a team that's supposed to compete in the NFC North. And I still don't understand the Aaron Rodgers disrespect. Absolutely not, especially after this game. So I'm with you there. Next game, Patriots-Dolphins, I think even a more boring game than that Lions-Bears game.
No, that Lions-Bears game was exciting. Don't say it was boring. It wasn't boring. Are you nuts? That was at the last second. That game went down to the wire. You're thinking of another game. Stop bashing the Bears-Lion game. That was fantastic.
Let's go, Allen Robinson.
Right.
That's it.
He's about to get traded.
Well, no,
be.
he's not. Don't tell me that. But, I mean, the Dolphins somehow managed to score 11 points in this game. This was the Cam Newton show. I mean, everything ran through him. My man had 15 carries and had 2 touchdowns. They really did not throw the ball much, which is not good for that Patriots offense. It already looked completely different than your old school Pats offense with Brady at the helm. I think Cam's going to do well. Pats came out and won 21-11. Ryan Fitzpatrick had a quiet, good game. He went 20 for 30 with 191 yards, but typical Fitz. He had 3 picks.
He didn't play well.
So
he didn't play well.
good for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but Josh McDaniels was the OC for Tebow.
I believe.
Or no.
Well, for Tebow was only a Pat.
No. Went in Denver. Yeah, he was there for Tebow. So he's got experience with quarterbacks like this where, they're not the best at throwing the ball, but he's got the experience there with Cam Newton. So I really don't think – I was just more surprised about the Patriots' defense is still fantastic, even though they had like 7 or 8 guys opt out, and they still just are good because it's just Belichick's defense, and he's always going to have a good defense, I guess. NFC East matchup, Eagles, Washington. That Washington front is legit. You got Sweat, you got Kerrigan, and Chase Young. That is a monster front for the Washington Redskins. They came alive in the second half. Wentz had absolutely no answer for them after going up 17-0. That defense kept Washington in the game. And, man, just not what you want to see if you're an Eagles fan. You're completely discouraged after this loss, going up 17-0 and seeing Carson Wentz just make bad decisions, and the Washington defense shutting that team down in the second half. I mean, Washington's still struggling on offense. Haskins he's not the best quarterback by any stretch of the means, but man, did Philly blow this one. I look at this as a terrible loss for the Eagles than I do a great win for Washington. I mean, the greatest part about Washington was their D-line. You're going to say that, damn, this is going to be a team that has this for years to come. So they can be definitely excited about that.
Absolutely. Chase Young is the real deal. He is a scary-looking human, man. He is
he's a refrigerator with legs.
Absolute menace. He is a refrigerator with legs. You're not wrong about that. We'll move down a little south, down to Charlotte, North Carolina, where the now Las Vegas Raiders went into Charlotte. Won 34-30. This was a really high-scoring game. Great game from Josh Jacobs. John Gruden is definitely going to pound the ball this year, I think. Jacobs went 25 for 93, 3 touchdowns. Derek Carr went 22 for 30, 239 yards, and a touchdown. And good for Teddy Bridgewater. He's finally getting his starting job that he rightfully deserves. Almost had 100 QBR. He went 22 for 34 with 269 yards. So Panthers is going to be a tough team to get out in that division, especially with McCaffrey and a nice new offense with Robbie Anderson. But the Raiders looked really good in this game. They looked good all game. I don't think they let up the lead at all, except for the first quarter when they were down 9-7.
So that was that game. I mean, I think that's a matchup between two bad teams in a way, and Matt LaFleur giving the ball to the fullback on 4th and inches instead of McCaffrey. That's a question to definitely ask him and put him under a microscope on that play call. Next one, Colts, Jags. People are already out of their survivor pool, taking the Colts, thinking, all right, they got Rivers now. This defense is looking much better. The Colts should roll the Jaguars in week 1. They're all over the place. Fournette just left. Nope. Psych. Minshew mania. Outscoring the Colts 13-3 in the second half. Gets the Jags a win. And Rivers is just classic Rivers. Going to have a great first 3 quarters, but then fourth quarter comes, he's throwing an interception when it matters, and that's exactly what happened. It's the same old Rivers, and the Colts are going to have to get used to being the Chargers of this year, I guess, because, damn, Phillip Rivers just does the same thing. Doesn't matter where he goes. He's going to play poorly in the fourth quarter and lose football games. That's what it looks like, and that's what happened in that game.
Yeah, that was a very bad loss, and I hate to say I was one of those people in the survivor pool that did take the Colts, so I am out when I didn't even have a chance. Next game, we have the Ravens and the Browns. The Ravens definitely looked like the team in the AFC East, or rather AFC North, I should say, and the team that's going to compete with the Chiefs for that AFC crown. Complete beatdown the Browns, 38-6. Lamar Jackson looked like an MVP.
Yep.
What else is new? Threw for 3 touchdowns. Marquise Brown, is this the year he's going to finally break out? Had 101 yards on 5 receptions. I mean, the Ravens are just such a fun team to watch on both sides of the ball.
Yep, they got a great defense, and Lamar Jackson at quarterback, having a new toy in J.K. Dobbins, who got in the end zone twice on Sunday. I mean, the Ravens you just rolled the Browns. The Browns are a mess. They'll always be a mess. Their offensive line had guys opt out. They put up 6 points in the first quarter, and that was it. And they don't have Njoku for 3 weeks now, and that was the guy that scored the only touchdown for them. Still have the Odell drama. Maybe he's out of Cleveland. Who knows what's going to happen. The Browns are the Browns. They stink. Chargers, Bengals. I swear if the Chargers had Phillip Rivers, they lose this game. They squeak out a 3-point win if the Chargers had Phillip Rivers, Bullock would have made the kick if the Chargers had Phillip Rivers. That's what would have happened. But 16-13, not a great game for the Chargers. Didn't really like much what I saw from them. The Bengals could say the same thing, but damn, that fourth quarter drive from Burrow, he looked like a frickin' professional, like a veteran. Just lasers to his wide receivers. Bam, catch, bam, catch. A.J. Green pushing off in the end zone. after and completing what would have been a touchdown. But yes, it was definitely offensive PI. It was the right call. Green definitely pushed off, but I mean, you got to be a little excited seeing Burrow have a great fourth quarter drive there, and his touchdown run was the longest by a rookie since Michael Vick, so they got that going for them as well. But definitely stuff to be excited about if you're a Bengals fan. If you're a Chargers fan, you're just hoping to get through the season. I don't know how many Chargers fans are left, but if you're a Chargers fan, you're just hoping to get through the season or lingering around 500.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Burrow's he's the real deal. I knew that coming into the season. I'm excited to see him on national television tomorrow night when they play the Browns up in Cleveland. But yeah, the Chargers, they're kind of just obviously in a big rebuild mode, and they got Herbert behind Tyrod Taylor. So we'll see what happens with them, but I don't think we can expect much out of the Chargers this year. The NFL game of the week really shocked a lot of people, I think, as far as how not evenly matched this game was. The Saints and the Bucks down in the Bayou, down in New Orleans. Brady, he looked 41 years old. He
looked like a guy that didn't practice with his team, to me. That's what he looked like. I'm not going to say he's that's it, Brady's old, he's done. I'm going to give him another chance. I am, and I think Brady is done, but I'm going to give him another chance. Deep down, I think he's done, but I want to see what he does in week 2. This will be a telling week playing the Panthers next week for the Bucks. Sorry, but go on.
No, this will definitely be no. I mean, we were talking about this on the course on Monday. I just think that really, I mean, that Bucks offense is way too talented to be as bad.
Now they got Godwin in protocol too.
34-23 in protocol, exactly. So it's going to be Mike Evans and really Gronk going to have to carry that offense if Gronk can wake up. And
I think I'm going to go pick up Scotty Miller because I got Godwin in 2 of my leagues. He's that third target there that I think Brady's going to like. Yep. And Saints, before we forget, Kamara did get his extension, 5 years, $75 million. Big money. I didn't think the Saints were going to do it, to be totally honest, because the Saints, to me, seem like we'll just draft a guy and we'll be fine. But they paid him 5 years, $75 million, so Kamara got his money. Upset of the week right here. Cardinals, Niners. Dev, we've been saying the Cardinals are going to be good this year. Do not sleep on the Arizona Cardinals. Week 1, they come out with an upset. Hopkins, career high, 14 catches, 151 yards. Kyler was just looking his way the entire game. And guess what? It worked. They had a great comeback in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Niners 14-7. Just wow. I'm very, very. I was surprised they won. I knew they were going to keep it close, but dang, I am surprised that they won. Murray was the leading rusher, 13 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Just, you're very happy if you're a Cardinals fan right now. If you're a Niners fan, take a step back. It was your first game of the year coming off a Super Bowl. You're going to be okay. Your defense is still very good. But dang, that Cardinals offense looked great with Hop and Murray.
Absolutely. I mean, the Cardinals are such a fun team to watch. I love watching Kyler Murray play. It's such a pleasure. And giving him Hopkins, I mean, talk about growth, you know? I mean, and you still have Kenyon Drake, too, who ended the year fantastic last year. Didn't have that good of a game on Sunday, but they came out with a win, and now the Niners are going to go 1-1 after Sunday when they beat the Jets here in MetLife. So, but that Niners D, I really thought real quick, Lou, I thought they were really going to show up a little bit more. They did not look like the Niners D that really carried them to the Super Bowl.
I think they'll be all right. I do. I know they lost DeForest Buckner. That's a huge piece on that line that they lost. But they drafted that rookie, Kinlaw. So I think he's going to play a couple games to get back into it. But next game, Cowboys, Rams. What'd you see there? Yeah,
I didn't see a lot from the Cowboys. I was really kind kind of disappointed in them. And on the other side, I was really surprised with the Rams. They had a lot of big moves this offseason, notably releasing Gurley. Not that he had that good of a year last year, but was it going to be Cam Akers' backfield? Was it going to be Malcolm Brown? And it was Malcolm Brown. I mean, he had 2 touchdown rushes for 79 yards. And Goff looked pretty good. I do have to give him that. He looked very, very good. He threw for 275 yards.
And that pick should have been unnecessary roughness. He got whacked in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
And that brings me to my next point real quick. You know, Gallup, you want to say he didn't push off, which I would agree with. I really don't think it was that much of pass interference. But that interception should have never been an interception. So you win some, you lose some, you lost that call, and you lost the game.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, well, the Cowboys should. I think they're going to take it against Atlanta this week. But if they go down 0-2, that's not good for them.
Definitely not. But luckily, they play in the NFC East, where the winner will be 9-7. So they definitely have room for error. Team that doesn't have much room for error in that division, Giants, starting off, and you don't really know how you feel coming after this game. You kind of liked what you saw from the defense in a way that they got after the quarterback, which they didn't do last year. They made Ben hurry a little bit, but their corners are terrible. Bradbury's the only real corner they have. So I would get Prince and Mukamara on the phone and say, "Hey, you want to come back and play for us?" Because man, is that a rough secondary they're having right now. Steelers came away with a win, 26-16. The game could have been completely different if they punch it in after a muff punt in the first quarter. It's a way different feeling having 14 points than 10 points going into halftime. Just way different, totally different game. And then they have a great drive, 19 plays, and Jones hold the ball for 2 seconds too long, and his arm got hit, ball went up in the air, easy interception for the Steelers. That was the worst play of the night I saw. That was very discouraging to see from Jones. You want to see him just throw the ball away there or just go down and take the sack. Don't try to force a throw like that because you cannot turn the ball over in the red zone. His first red zone interception of his career, so hopefully it'll be one of the very, very few. But not going to panic with this game. The offensive line played their first game together against what's probably a top 3 defensive line, the Steelers, and they just sent one more than the Giants had blocking on basically every single play. They were just blitzing. I'm kind of surprised Jones played as well as he did, having 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a great stat line to me. I mean, it's just the one pick, T.J. Watt made a fantastic play, backing up out of coverage and just getting his hands up. I didn't see it coming. Jones didn't see it coming. Not going to be upset at Jones for that pick, but the second one, yes, you can definitely get on him for. And Slayton, number 1 receiver status, six catches, 100 yards, a couple touchdowns. That's still encouraging. But I think it's only up from here with the Giants. Terrible, one of the worst matchups they could have had on paper, and they only lost by 10. Not the worst thing in the world if you're a Giant fan. Waiver wire acquisition of the week. Go get Benny Snell Jr., James Conner's nursing an injury, and wow, did Snell look like a way better back anyway. So that's the takeaway from that game. Last game of the week, Dev, Titans, Broncos. What'd you see?
Yeah, I saw a tooth and nail battle for sure, going back and forth. The one notable thing for me coming out of this game was the injury to Philip Lindsay. So really throughout the game before Lindsay got hurt, Melvin Gordon, the new acquisition for the Broncos, surprisingly in my opinion, he and Lindsay were splitting carries pretty evenly. And now Lindsay's going to be out for a while, so they're going to let Drew Lock just hand the ball off to Melvin Gordon next week against the Steelers. Let him do his thing, or they're going to attack the Steelers' corners. We'll see. But another thing was Gostowski's awful night. I believe he missed 3 field goals, including an extra point, or 2 field goals.
3 field goals and an extra point. Yep.
Yeah, that's brutal. I'm surprised at him, especially in Mile High with the kicking conditions out there. But he nailed the game-winning field goal in the fourth quarter, so I guess that's all that matters. And Mike Vrabel, I love Mike Vrabel as a head coach, by the way. But setting that aside, his mask that he was wearing getting onto the plane to get out to Denver, it was inscribed, "Please give the ball to Derrick Henry."
Yeah, 31 times. They gave it to him.
They gave it to him, exactly. They fed the beast 116 yards, and with that refrigerator, talk about a refrigerator, boy, I don't know how people tackle him. He is one huge human being. The Titans came out and won 16-14. So really to wrap it up with the NFL, a pretty exciting week. A lot of overs hit. I am not surprised with that at all, with the lack of, obviously, preseason and really not a lot of guys getting hit in practice. So I think you're going to see a lot of high-scoring games this year.
Definitely. Yeah, not getting hit in practice is a big thing. Defenses not being together, another big thing. But a lot of overs did hit. We'll see what has in store next week. And before we go, Dev, I'm going to make you look now, but we'll do this at the end of the show. I want an upset of the week and a lock of the week by the time we get back to it in week 2. But now, let's move on to baseball, our last part of the show here. We kind of didn't talk to you through the Yankees' horrible stretch. I mean, I was to the point where I thought the Yankees were an 8 seed at best. I'm like, this team cannot figure it out. Garrett Cole does not look good, giving up homers consistently still. Their lineup couldn't get healthy. They were putting up 1-2 runs a game. I mean, they looked atrocious. But now they're winners of 6 in a row, going for their 7th tonight with Garrett Cole on the bump. And they're looking a lot better. They just got Judge back. They got Stanton back. Urshela's back. 3 huge pieces in that lineup. And I mean huge, because you just saw just having Stanton and Urshela back, they put up a 20 spot on the Blue Jays where DJ LeMahieu hit the lowest velocity pitch, 48.7 miles an hour, out to left. Absolutely crushed it.
Well, let me stop you real quick, because he just homered right now to give them a 1-0
and right on cue. Right on cue. DJ LeMahieu. Was it 48.7 miles an hour?
This one was not 48.7
Was it 84.7?
Believe it or not. I don't think so. It was a 95 or 90 mile an hour
from 48
fastball.
to 97 in his last at bat. Just back-to-back home runs in his last at bat for LeMahieu. Keep it going. I wonder if Voigt's going to homer, hitting in the 4-hole tonight. Honestly, I like him in the 2-hole. I would have betted him second, and then I know Stanton's not playing tonight. But when Stanton's back, I would like to see Voigt stay in the 2 spot, Judge in the 3rd, Stanton in the 4th. I think it'll make Voigt see even better pitches than he's getting, which would only make him a better hitter because he's leading the league in homers with 18 right now after hitting 2 last night. You have Judge in the 3 spot, Stanton in the 4 spot. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really, really tough. Dev, keep me a live update of Judge's at bat too. Right now, let's keep that going.
Yeah, I will.
But I'll still go on with my Yankees takes quick. But Paxton has a minor setback here. Doesn't look like he's going to be ready soon. They're trying to maybe get him a start before the playoffs, but I don't think you're going to see Paxton start in the playoffs. I think you might see him out of the bullpen, though, if he's healthy. But man, that hurts because the ALCS and the ALCS and the division series are not going to have days off, which really hurts the pitching in those series for both teams. So you're not going to have one day off in those series. So it hurts the Yankees not having Paxton in that rotation.
No, it absolutely does. And Judge just struck out swinging on a low fastball, low and inside. So he's right back where he was. But I know we're going to talk about it in a second a little bit. The Yankees getting healthy is obviously an amazing, amazing, amazing thing compared to where they were 2 weeks ago, because this team was as bad and flat as it could possibly be. The Rays lost today, so if the Yanks win tonight, they will be 3 back in the division. Still pretty possible with about 12 days left in the season, even though the Rays have a very favorable schedule. But with the whole postseason schedule thing that we're going to talk about in a second, it does not favor the Yankees at all. With as injury prone as they've been made out of glass all year. You need to keep these guys fresh. And with pitching, I mean, the Yanks need to lean on their bullpen, which has really not been that good this year. They're going to have to rely on starting pitching, which hasn't been all that good either this year. So the pitching is going to be critical for the Yankees as they play with no days off in the postseason. Definitely will be. But right now, if the season were to end today, I'm happy. They play the Twins. That's who they would play today if the season ended. If they do end up overtaking Tampa, which I just don't see, I think Tampa's schedule is just too easy for them to really mess up. They would then play the Indians, which I'm not a fan of. I'd rather play the Twins than the Indians. I'd rather not face Shane Bieber and Carrasco. I just wouldn't want to do it. I'd rather face the Twins. But we'll see. We'll see if that happens. You got the Astros at the last spot. Oh, they can't be the last spot because, right, there's the two division, the number 1 in the division and the number 2 in the division. So they're number 2 in the division at 500 right now, behind just the A's. So the Mariners are 2 games behind them. So let's see if they play each other. But they play each other, and the Mariners hopefully could win and knock the Astros out of the playoffs, which would be absolutely shocking and,
awesome.
And surprising here. Because right now they're the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're the 8th spot right now. They'd be the 8th seed of the playoffs and would have to take on the White Sox in a 3-game set.
Yeah, I don't want to play the
They
White Sox.
have been
either.
on a roll. They do not want to get in their way whatsoever. But
Nope.
so Mets, believe they're 2.5 games out of a playoff spot. I think it's just too much, too late with a couple weeks to go here. But better news for them is Steve Cohen has bought their team. He's going to be the majority owner. I think 95% of the team will be owned by him. So great news for the Mets. The Wilpons are gone, and now they have a good chance of signing some key free agents when it's about the money. You just got to hope they want to go there. You're going to have the money to pay them, but you're just going to hope that free agents are going to want to go to the Mets.
Yeah, this is a heaven for the Mets. All Met fans are jubilated with finally getting out of Wilpon jail. And I think you're really going to see a difference with Cohen at the helm. He is a diehard Met fan. He's a local guy. Really, really wants to win. At least that's the vibe I get from him. I think they're going to be very aggressive this offseason. So I think the Mets are going to improve rather quickly with some trades and some free agent signings.
Yep, things could be turning around for the Mets. Other things MLB came out with was there'll be no celebrations with champagne, no popping champagne celebrations. So they're not going to be having fun in the locker room after they clinch or win or whatever. Not going to happen. I hope it's just COVID related. I mean, I think it's one of the coolest things, the champagne celebrations. But hopefully it's just COVID related. Next year it'll be back, whatever. You're going to cancel it for a year anyway, whatever. Postseason bubble, Texas and LA. I don't know why they would commit to LA with what's going on there and just the fires up and down California. That air quality is tough. You've heard pitchers already say, I'm 23 years old. I shouldn't be gasping for air when I go get back into the dugout. But I don't know. I think they should move it to Florida and Texas, but they're having the World Series at Texas's new stadium at
globe life. So those are two things that the MLB came up with today. Not today, just in the past week.
And real quick, Lou, I saw something real quick that the backup plan, if California is still as bad as it is, the backup plan would be Phoenix.
Phoenix, okay. Gotcha. Thank you for that. Did not know. But I think it'll end up being Phoenix and Texas. But the AL will play in NL parks, and the NL will play in AL parks. So no home field advantage at all. That part I don't like, that there's no home field advantage at all. But considering the circumstances for the season, it's whatever. Yep. And Manfred said today something I hated was the postseason schedule may remain past 2020. It is ridiculous to play 162 games to let half the teams in the MLB into the playoffs. It's just absolutely ridiculous. This needs to stop. I do not want to see this. You don't want what's the point of a trade deadline? Everyone's going to be in it. Everyone's going to be in it if you do this. Just, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Exactly.
There should only be. They already added the one wild card, which is enough. That's enough. You play 162 games for a reason, not to put half the league in the playoffs. It's disgusting. I hate it. I think it'd be terrible. It's only a money-making move, and it's just bad. I can't stand it. I don't like there being. You're telling me that teams under 500 are going to get into the playoffs? In the NL right now, you already have the Cardinals and Giants both sitting there. Cardinals are at 500, but the Giants are under 500, and they're a playoff team. I don't need to see these teams in the playoffs. I don't. No. Especially in a short series against the one seed, anything can happen in 3 games. Anything. Absolutely anything can happen in 3 games. You're in the playoff hunt, and all of a sudden, you make a move for the best pitcher in baseball, and then all you have to do to knock the top team out is have him, your previous one starter, and then an ace go, and you win those first 2 games, and that's it for a team that won 100 games all season? No. I hate it.
It is ludicrous. I agree. This should be just a one-time thing, obviously, with everything going on. Just keep the same format. I don't understand. And they actually did a great job with the wild card game. It's been working.
It's been exciting. I didn't think I didn't know if I would love it, but it was exciting. When the Yankees are in it, it's like it's almost comparable to an overtime game in hockey in the playoffs when your team's playing. It's comparable to that feeling of oh God.
Yep.
Anything can happen right now, sort of feeling. Other news around the MLB, Matt Chapman for the A's out for the year, which means Gio Urshela is the best third baseman in the American League. Wow, what a loss for the A's. A huge loss for the A's.
Yeah,
that's middle of their lineup hitter, Gold Glove third baseman, just done for the season. Really hurts them. And not saying that they're not going to be a contender anymore, but man, if there's one person you don't want to lose, it's him for the A's.
Yeah, no, they're definitely going to feel that for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Better news, Alec Mills for the Cubs throws the second no-hitter of the year. First time ever someone from Chicago, the White Sox, and Chicago Cubs have thrown no-hitters in the same season, and Alec Mills only got 5 swings and misses. That's it. Throughout the whole game, only 5 people swung and missed. One of the lowest ever. It has been done before. No one's gone under 5 swing and misses and has thrown a perfect game or no-hitter. I believe Mark Burley's perfect game only had 5 swings and misses, and Dallas Braden's as well, something like that. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. But only 5 swings and misses for Alec Mills. But congratulations on the no-hitter. No-hit the Brewers.
Yeah, that's a man who's hitting his locations.
Yep.
That's
spots,
as simple as
spots, keep hitters off balanced, and you will be very successful in this league. So that'll really do it with the Yanks. The next time we'll be back talking to you about it would be the playoff push. There's only 2 weeks left in this season. We'll get a better idea of who's going to be in it, who's not going to be in it, and that'll be that. So really quick now, we got to go back. Give me your lock of the week and give me your upset of week 2.
Oh boy, I gotta get.
I can go
up,
first.
So give me 1 second.
I will go first.
Go first.
My lock of the week is
my fault.
Niners -7 over the Jets. I don't think the Jets are going to move the ball at all. I'd be surprised if the Jets score a touchdown in this game. 49ers defense going to bounce back in a big way. I think they're going to run the ball well with Mostert, and there are other guys there. They got McKinnon and Coleman, I think. Was it Coleman? Or Coleman left? It is Coleman still?
Coleman.
They got 3 guys there. They're going to run the ball well. I believe Kittle might be out for this game with a hyperextended knee, but I'm still going San Fran -7. That's my lock this week. My upset of the week, Vikings. Vikings +3 against the Colts. I did not like what I saw from Rivers. I think the Vikings are going to need to wake up and play some better football. I expect their corners to be better. They're not facing Aaron Rodgers this week, but the Vikings need to bounce back in a way, and I think +3 with the Vikings is the way to go.
Yeah, I'll go with that first, Lou, because I cannot fathom why the Vikings are plus money this week. I don't know why, especially with the Colts looking the way they did and losing to the Jaguars, even though obviously the Vikings got blown out at home. I love that. But my lock of the week, I love this Seahawk line. -3.5, home opener, even though you're not going to have the 12s in the stadium. Pats flying cross country. Seahawks looking as dominant as they did down in Atlanta. I'm very high in the Seahawks team. I am hammering that line. Hawks -3.5.
Can't say I'm not surprised. I think I'm a little bit surprised there. All right. Now, who's the upset?
Believe it or not, Lou, my upset, I'm still going to take the Raiders at home. It's their first game ever in Vegas. Saints coming out to Vegas, obviously. Are they going to be hungover from Sunday night? Who knows? But, I mean, this is a pretty even week 2, to be honest with you. You got some easy picks. You got some hard picks. I'm really excited for this Rams-Eagles game. I think it's going to be a battle. The Eagles go down 0-2 in the division. That's really tough. But I would not mind putting money on the Raiders. Absolutely not. And I really, really like that spread. Maybe not the money line so much.
All right.
Definitely.
There you have it. There's our lock of the week, our upset of the week. I'm going to give some honorable mentions here. I like the Jags +9 and the Rams +1 against the Eagles. Those are other 2 that I am looking at this week. So we'll see next week, Dev. I'm gonna keep tally here because I'm probably gonna beat you on everything. Upset pick will be 2 points. Lock of the week is 1 point. So that's how we'll do it.
All right.
We'll jot it down. Dev, Raiders, and Seahawks. Lewis goes Vikings and 49ers. We'll see who comes out on top. Probably going to be me. I don't think the Raiders are doing that against the Saints. The Saints look like one of the best teams of the week in week 1. Crazy pick there, Dev. Crazy pick. It could be.
I think the Thompson is going to be huge for that offense.
Be. But that's going to do it for us in this episode. And we will see you, or you'll hear us next week. Take care, everybody.